Hey guys, welcome back to the Franklin Forge. Today's video, I'm just going to cover why a bladesmith should have a post vise. And you really should have more than one. I've got one. It's a 3.5 inch jaws, maybe a 4-inch jaw. Yeah, it's a 4-inch jaw. And this one, it has been in my wife's family since it was purchased in 1901. It's an old one, which is really cool. But the real reason you should always have a post vise if you're a knife maker is because you can use it for straightening. It's super critical. So when you come out and there's a nice warp in it or something, you can use these jaws to actually straighten your knife. You can clamp it there and you can look down the edge really nicely because you've got all this space here, and it's not always easy to do when you're using, say, like a bench vise and stuff. You can't always see clearly through there, and you can work the whole, all sides of the anvil, which is really nice, where like a vise on your bench is going to be kind of limited to just that corner. So this makes it really easy to straighten, so you can clamp it. The bigger post vise you have, the better. You can't, like a good 6-inch wide is really ideal because then you're grabbing more of the blade, and the more blade you can grab at a time, the easier it is to straighten it out. And you could also put, if you had big blocks of steel, I actually do this with my bench vise, is I put, I've got some long plates of 4140 for long knives that I do, and I put those plates in there, and it allows me to grab more and straighten it easier. But yeah, this is great for just kind of pinching down the blade and getting it really, really close to straight. And the jaws themselves have a bit of a taper to it, which is cool. If you're forging your bevels down, then you can put that in there and actually kind of match that angle, and that helps align your center of your edge a little bit. The next thing that I use it for is a very similar thing, but flip it this way, when I'm forging, I'm drawing my bevels out. It's really easy for those bevels and your edge to get off-centered of your spine, and so you want to get that back to center. So if you're sitting on the anvil and just trying to hit a little bit and look and hit a bit, that you're going to be there for a while. So the quickest and easiest way to do it is to get some heat into it in the forge, kind of lock it up. You don't want it too high, you don't want it too low, because then you're only affecting a certain amount. There's kind of like this sweet zone right when the transition starts to happen where your taper is, and you can look down the spine either by the heel. I like to look at it from the blade to the butt of the knife or the handle, and see how in line that edge is to your actual handle. And you can look at that and clearly see it, and you've got a while because the heat will stay there for a little bit because there's not a lot of mass removing the heat. And you can just use like a small hammer is really nice, and you can hit that edge, whatever side you need to, because sometimes the back here may be to the left and this is to the right, and you can just really work that edge and take as many heats as you want to get that edge lined up with your handle, and that's going to save you a ton of time when you get to the grinder, or even like you get to the grinder, you realize your bevel's all the way off to one side and it's not straight, and you don't have enough material there to really fix it. Then it's just a pain. Then you got to go back in the forge and all that. So make sure that your edge is in line with your handle. And the easy way to do that, like I said, is with a post vise. And obviously there's a ton of other options with the post vise, whether general blacksmithing or bladesmithing. If you're wanting to make, say, a tomahawk or a hammer that's like integral type style, you can use this to clamp a piece of material, and then it sticks up and you can hit the top of it and upset that material. Make it more bulbous. So there's obviously tons of options. That's why it's right next to my power hammer, because I use them in conjunction in my anvil, because I'm always going between all of them. So this is super, super useful for grabbing stuff. And my main thing that I use it for is straightening blades. And that was kind of the big tip that I wanted to take away from this is don't be afraid to use your post vise if you're a knife maker. It's not just a blacksmithing tool. So yeah, I hope you found this helpful, and I appreciate you watching. And I'll see you on the next episode.